My name's Wade Watts. My dad picked that name
Hi,
because
Wade.
it sounded like a superhero's alter ego, like Peter Parker or Bruce Banner. But he
Clark
died
Kent.
when I was a kid. My mom too.
Clark.
I like the look of the stacks.
I ended up here,
That's
Yeah.
exactly how I imagined it.
Yeah.
sitting
It
here
really
in my
is.
tiny corner of nowhere. There's nowhere left to go. Nowhere. Except the oasis.
That's where technology's going.
Prawn much?
Virtual universe.
Oh my god, it's a DeLorean.
Of course.
That
the
car
DeLorean
can't get
he-
88 miles an hour.
He rides in the
Can you feel this?
in the book. See,
Yeah. It's the only place that
that's a
feels like
scene
I
from
made
the
it.
book. Although it's probably not
The
the same.
Oasis was the brainchild of James Halliday.
Hello. If you're watching this, I'm dead.
Not how I
I
pictured him.
created a hidden object, an
Definitely not
Easter
like a
egg.
picture.
The first person to find the egg will inherit $500 billion and total control of the Oasis itself.
I just don't see how they can do this all in one book.
One movie, I know.
Honestly. I just don't see how they can do it.
This isn't just a game. Actual life and death stuff.
The Oasis, the world's most important economic resource. It's nothing less than a war for control of the future.
It's a lot more focus on Sorrento than I thought they would do.
You know, that boardroom was a lot smaller than I imagined it when I...
Like many of you.
Oh my god, say
You see,
it.
there was Tracer.
Yeah, I saw
There's a
that.
whole bunch in that scene apparently. We gotta go back.
Yeah, from the 80s.
Well, I go, yeah, I can,
It's
okay.
almost done.
Help us save the Oasis.
No following Hogarth.
So where was that scene?
Yeah, the Iron Giant,
That looks
so,
good.
you know, gave props.
Let's slow it down.
Say anything.
And
It's Harley.
Chun-Li, is that what's her name?
It's Harley,
Chun-
Chun-Li,
Yeah, Chun-Li.
Yeah.
Yeah.
shit ton of skeletons. This is obviously going to be the scene when they're attacking
Yeah, at the end.
The end.
A rabbit.
Dude, I imagine the corporate
See, that I
corporation
can-
stuff. I imagine this big, massive building against a space skyline. That thing.
See, I
looked
can understand
small.
that scene right there because that's the end and it's everybody's personal avatar. What
Yeah.
they envision themselves.
Yeah.
That's Harley.
Yeah,
That's
and
Harley.
Joker.
You know, so that I can understand. That's fine because that would just be people using the avatars in, and that's somebody wanting to be Michael Jackson. It looks like Michael Jackson's zombie.
That looks like Joker.
The
Yeah, you
Joker.
see, look around his lips. Yeah,
Okay.
that's you can see
Yeah,
it.
you're right.
Johnny Depp's Joker.
So I mean, yeah, I could see this.
It's definitely going away from the books. Like it's not like the
It
books.
definitely looks like they're going. We're gonna bring in 100 times more action because action. is-
Yeah.
Well, they can probably tell the story quicker when they do action.
and there's action involved. I mean, yeah, the end of the book where they got the giant battle happening between all of the freelance people in the world trying to fight against the corporation that's locking off the last thing. That would have been awesome. And you actually see the end there where you get to see Robotech basically, because remember he gets the key thing or whatever that allows him to summon the one fucking robot. That's what he
Yeah,
used to break
yeah.
the, so you get to see
Wait,
that.
you're like spoiling a lot of shit.
The book's been out forever.
Hey,
This could have literally nothing to do with the book, other than there's a contest.
It looks like they're gonna have the general feel for it, but like I said, that's the main thing though. The meat and potatoes behind this has more to do with the pop culture references and the constant nostalgia that the movie just. The book doesn't
Yeah,
have.
there's no Transformer in the
not
book.
have- Yeah, I mean the
I don't
DeLorean-
think that's
Chucky.
That's Chucky.
So I mean that's
like
fun.
that looked like Voltron.
Oh, Voltron.
Voltron.
Yeah, Voltron was
Yeah.
in the book, right? Wasn't there like
Yeah,
a
was-
group
I
of
think-
Sixers had, remember when they each got to pick their thing? I think a group of them picked each piece of Voltron or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely there because they talked. That's one of the things that they talked about at the
Chucky.
when everybody came together.
Fucking shit. That little bastard could rip
That's
some shit up,
hilarious.
though.
So I
Don't
mean,
kid
that's
yourself.
that's going to be epic, and that's a scene that they could.
No,
go to
see, this
town
is a
on.
scene from. He's clearly in his
Full
No,
set.
he's in that the car, right? Oh, maybe not.
He could be her van. Yeah,
Could
It
be
could
the
be the
van
van.
before his house is blown up. But he says,
that's late. That's
"Oh,
after.
when he was
That's
with
because,
okay.
Because remember, the house gets blown up, and he still finds he finds the first clue, and he gets
As
murdered.
soon as the
Britney
house
Spears on
blows
that
up,
wrecking
he
ball.
leaves pretty much.
He leaves, but that's the thing. Is
The
he-
Iron
he
Giant. I
solves
like the
thing,
Iron
and then
Giants in
he
it.
he gets all of the endorsements because he's the
Right,
first
yeah.
person to find it, and he gets all the money, and he moves into an apartment
Yeah,
by
yeah.
himself. Remember, and lives in the apartment, and then eventually, once he solves the
Yeah.
second puzzle, that's
Yeah,
when they're
yeah,
coming after the apartment.
No,
That's when he leaves and meets a friend. Because his friend
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
and picks
yeah,
him
yeah,
up, and that's when he finds out his best friend, who's using a male avatar, is actually a woman. And that's-
he gets
that's when he
catfished.
Yeah. It's catfish. Reverse catfish.
Is that a root? Oh yeah, reverse
So-
catfish.
So it's like it should be interesting, and like I said, it looks good.
Yeah, I'm gonna
probably
go
wanna
see it.
but it
Definitely.
definitely strikes me as it's going to be interesting to see how much they hold true to the storyline. I think that is the
Yeah,
girl
it's gotta
is
be.
the-
But which would tell me that they're definitely changing the love story. She
Yeah.
ain't do shit like that in the book.
No, but they hint to it. They hint because they hint to the. But it's yet again. It's how because there's a huge time jump in
Yeah.
the book because he
Yeah.
talks about after he
It's like
solves
months.
the first puzzle,
Yeah.
it's months before he even remotely figures
Yeah.
out the second one. And it's that the whole time he talks about that, they talk about him and the girl become extremely close and spend all of their free time together, and that's when he almost loses interest in solving the puzzle, and then all of a sudden she doesn't talk to him anymore, and that's when he gets back on the start to figure the shit out. He's even got the Simon pin. He does. It's
Yeah.
nostalgia, man. Like I said, it's gotta have
But
nostalgia.
there's a lot of stuff in there that has.
There's
nothing
gonna
to
be
do
shit
with-
all over this movie. You don't notice it until like the fourth time you watch it.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. But like I said, that's the difference between the mediums. In the book, they have to constantly hit
yeah.
you with the verbal nostalgia. In the movies, they can throw it in, like the little scene with the go back where he holds the jukebox up in the air.
Oh
That's
yeah.
Say
yeah,
Anything.
yeah.
That's John Cusack Say Anything. So I mean, there's stuff that you can show without actually knowing it. Anybody who knows what it's referencing is immediately going to be hit by that
Right.
note.
Oh, I remember seeing that movie.
It's like
yeah.
spotlights. And that's the thing. So I got no problem with that. They can really open. That's why I said I don't think there's any scenes that they should really have to rewrite. They just need to focus more on making it more visually, interesting. There's the key being given.
Yeah, by the lich. Is that the lich?
I just don't see how they could do that.
How is that a lich though?
That was the person that was given it. That's
The
probably
first lich, right?
The second.
I forget what the second one was.
Because the first one
It was
was
just with the
Joust
lich.
tournament, right?
Yeah, it could be the lich.
You better put spoilers in the fucking-
Serious book
fucking
spoilers.
thing.
Yet again, if you've reached a point, I understand what you're saying, Torn, but that's a bronze key, so it's got to be the first
so that's
one.
the whatever. If there's even a lich in this movie.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's like if you haven't read the book and you don't know what Ready Player One is, I understand the spoilers and stuff, but at the same exact token, it's So, but this is another thing, and this is a stupid one. It looks like they're going to be bringing her story into the
Almost
character
immediately,
way too
yeah.
early. Yeah, which is a horrible
Who
thing.
knows that?
That was what. Yeah, but see, that's
You
horrible.
gotta squeeze it
Yeah,
all
you
in
can't have
somehow.
Yeah, but
a
that-
female love interest
That's
who you
the
don't
W-
see until the last scene of the movie.
It's the W-
You literally would not see her to
Because
the very
that's-
end.
If I was going to argue particulars over the book that pisses me off, I think one of the most interesting aspects of the book, and I agree with we were talking before the cast came on or before we did this, that the book is very, very. It's not the best writing. It
No.
really isn't. But the interesting aspect was the transformation of the main character from the movie. He starts off as the fat, chubby, overweight.
Well, he didn't start out fat.
You know,
he got fat when he lived in the
Yeah,
apartment because he wasn't exercising.
no, he talks about that's your
When
back-
he was in
Sedentary.
the stacks, he was using his bike every day to power up his computer, so he was getting exercise.
But he talks about he was not in the best.
Well, yeah,
shape.
he's not.
doesn't
Yeah, he's not in
become
great shape. Yeah,
He doesn't. He doesn't.
but it
get
gets
in
it
good
gets worse
fitness
when he moves in.
until after
It gets worse when he moves in the
No,
apartment.
after. No.
Rock-
He said he
Rocking the dad bod before it's
It
popular.
talks
After it's
about him-
popular.
It talks about him
Well-
getting in fit physical shape after he gets the apartment because he has the money to buy the full immersed rig where he's
Yeah,
actually
well, and
moving
because
and
he
walking
gets
Right,
fat and he's
just
like, all right, I
smell.
got to fix this.
and stuff like that. And that was the big thing. And like I said, that's the key thing with the main character at the end.
He gets
If
a smelling
if that
unit
any
and a
if that any of that
unit.
even happens in this movie, I don't. There's
Yeah.
It's WB. How are they going to work that in?
moving
We
into
got
an
no time for that.
apartment, infiltrating their base. Like, there's a lot of story in there.
But see, that's the thing that the love interest of the story. There's your say anything moment. But see, that's
Yeah.
the love interest moment that gets is that they never meet until the very, very, very end
Yeah.
of the movie. They never meet, and
Yeah.
that's the key thing with the love story in the movie is that they fall in love before they actually ever meet in person.
That's one of the great things about the story.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, it
So
makes
if you,
it different.
if you lose that, because that's his driving motivation towards the end.
It's the
and it-
unknown.
Yeah, and it's like it's if you bring that out and really like care the whole understory of that is the avatar aspect. Her avatar is unbelievably attractive, but when they meet in real life, she's kind of homely. She's not bad looking, but
He
she's
even
nowhere
calls
near
her
what-
Rubenesque.
Yeah,
I can't believe he says that in that book.
but see
Wow.
the whole point behind that is that it didn't matter what she looked like. He loved her for who
Yeah.
she was, and she was afraid that when he saw her, he would have no interest in her. So that was the big that would be an interesting. It would be a good moral story.
They don't have the time for that.
It'd be no.
They really
issue
should
to
have
put
made
that
it
in
2
because
movies.
she's not really a major character in the movie till in the books until the
I
end.
have a feeling
Because-
we're gonna really wish they had made it 2 movies. That's my guess. It'll be fun, but it
I
should
got
have
a
been
feeling
2.
we're gonna, and I got a feeling it's just they're gonna take a lot of the actual good story that's in the book and replace it with explosions and Michael Bay.
Yeah.
I hate to say that Michael Bay aspect, but I think they're gonna dumb it down.
Well, it
You bite
is
your
a
tongue.
Spielberg movie. So I have hopes with that.
It is a WB movie.
True.
We all know what they did to fucking Justice League.
So,
Yes.
I was looking, just trying to see the news on this and stuff. Apparently, there's going to be a book sequel in the work, and Spielberg's getting some input
I
into
said
it.
they're making this. They're doing a second book, and it already has a movie deal.
And then
Yeah.
Indiana Jones lifts the crystal skull up in the air, and it turns
So-
into the next key.
Isn't there an Indiana
Right,
Jones
like,
coming out
yeah,
next year?
I'm sitting there and,
God help us.
like, oh, I wish they had made it
I'm
too.
pretty
but,
sure there
well,
is.
They're already
Yeah,
making
but
a
how do they write
sequel.
a sequel to
You
the?
just don't know what they're leaving
How
out.
the fuck can they have a sequel? The end of the fucking first book. Spoiler.
The good guys win.
The good guys win, and the main character is in
He's a
control of the
trillionaire.
Oasis
It's like
storyline.
instantly.
Trillionaire. So, and the evil has been vanquished, and he has
He
creative
saves the
control over
world.
the Oasis. You know, it literally is the epitome of like the 1980s. That yet again, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
trope. It's the epitome of the 1980s
Yeah.
movie.
And he lived happily
the good
ever
guy
after,
wins,
and nothing
and-
ever happened again.
Exactly. There's
Well,
nothing to really play to, and the reason there's no play to, the only way you could possibly do that would be going into the aspect of 40 years later, where the main character
Yeah.
dies and he
Does the
redoes
same
this.
thing again.
no.
Yeah.
You can make it even better. You can make it so there was another Easter egg or another egg.
second
in there that
layer,
was
yeah.
secret.
That would be
Yeah.
redundant. That would be redundant. What
No.
prize could you what prize could you dangle? with
I
the
refuse to accept
trillions-
this. La, 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 la.
trillions of dollars and the keys to the Oasis. The only way you can do that would be go into the future, and then it would be the same exact storyline to a point, but instead of using 80s nostalgia, you'd run with the whole like 2000s,
Maybe up to 90s.
stuff like 90s.
Well, before that,
2000s
we'll
nostalgia.
get Andromeda, which is his second book, which I read, and it was essentially the same book as Ready Player One.
Yeah, there's a new
With obviously large differences, but it's like a '90s nostalgia. You know, he plays these like space shooting games. And here were some spoilers for that book. He plays like these space shooting games, and the space shooting games have been coming out steadily since the 70s because it's been getting society ready to fight against the space invaders.
Wait, these fuckers
There's
are
already
2D.
a movie about that.
Yes,
called The
yes,
Last
exactly.
Starfighter.
Yes.
Okay.
The Last Starfighter, yeah.
They may even mention that in the book.
And it's got Louis Gossett Jr. in like this horrible Stone Man makeup. Is it? No, that's Louis Gossett Jr.
We've been teaching people to fight aliens in 2 dimensions.
So that
for the
book,
past 20, 30 years.
it's being made into a movie. There were cool parts about it.
We're really cracking into the 80s nostalgia with The Last Starfighter. Nobody probably knows
Dude,
that.
come on, that movie was fucking.
That movie's
epic.
great. No, but
Alright.
I said that's my biggest concern with this movie is the thing that made the book endearing and great was the constant he literally must have he's either the most ultimate 80s fanboy or he just literally watched like every VH1 everything about the 80s special and
Behind
just
the music.
copied down everything and like I mean, the nostalgia is what made the book what it was. If you take that nostalgia away and replace it with special effects and pretty colors, which, I'm not saying that's not going to be, but I mean, if you take away that driving motivation of nostalgia, I don't think there's much of a storyline there. Because that the whole storyline is the guy who made the Oasis was an 80s.
That'll still be there for sure.
And it has to be. It has to be the thing. And everything that he does, it has to be nostalgia. And half the time when you're reading the book, you're like, I know what it is, but I fucking can't remember. I know what it is, but I can't fucking remember. And when you finally read it, you're like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe
Captain
I forgot
Crunch,
that.
I knew it the whole time.
Yeah. And it's like
Flock of seagulls, who knew?
And I'm a huge Rush fan, and there was the bit with the Rush and that was fantastic in there. So it wasn't even 80s nostalgia, it was like late 70s, mid 70s nostalgia as well. The 2112 and stuff. So I mean it's a great time capsule movie. If you really don't have that as the brick and mortar of the storyline, I don't know if the movie's gonna function.
What was the name of that? The one the text adventure. That's one of the puzzles. Zool or what's the name of it?
Gru?
No, it's the game. I can't remember the name of the game, but when he was reading the thing, I was like, oh my gosh, I know. I remember playing that game. I can't remember it. Anyways, The Dwelling Long Forgotten. That little puzzle. Piper and I are going through the audiobook right now in anticipation of this movie, and she's enjoying it. Actually, she likes it.
Yeah, so that's the thing that gets me is that they really that still has to be the fundamental driver of the plot, and that because that's the reason why the character is so advanced at what he does, because he's basically the ultimate 80s fanboy. So it's not because he's talented, it's not because he's the best person in the Oasis. He's not. It's just his knowledge of useless knowledge is what basically gives him the cutting edge. And the diehard motivation to play 80,000 rounds.
He is also very good at video games.
Yeah, and that's it again. So, but yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I have.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna move. I'll movie past it.
I think they're gonna fucking.
All right.
Don't shake your head, Saul.